Hi everybody, this is Tim, and I hope you don't mind me coming to you by a video today to present the third quarter financials to you. And hopefully you have a handout like this that says the June 14th business meeting. And I'll just kind of jump right into it. The first page is the checking balance breakdown as of May 31st. And as you can see, the total amount is looking good, almost $113,000. And then it's all kind of broken down into the different buckets that you can see there. The biggest one is the general fund that we pay pretty much all of our bills out of each month. And then we have the next largest is the building fund. It increased a little bit, but a good $45,000 in that. And then still have the insurance reimbursement from the excess of the insurance payment for the roof and stuff, and then the sanctuary carpet. And then the other three are just kind of a little bit miscellaneous there, but again, this is the assets, the financial assets of Sligo Baptist Church, totaling almost $113,000, which is pretty solid there. If you flip the page and you see on the left donations and incomes, and on the right expenditures, and basically two columns. This is a 9-month summary of what's going on with the church. And through the end of May, we've collected in total from donations and from other income sources, from interest to the rental and parsonage, $121,000. And that's a little bit down from both years. From a year ago, it's down about $7,500, 5.9%. And then from 2 years ago, 2 fiscal years ago, for the 9 months, it's down about $12,000 and about 9% from that year. So income donations are down, as you can tell. Fortunately, expenses are down a little bit compared to last year. Our expenses for the 9 months have totaled about $125,000, and that's a little over $2,000 less than this time a year ago, about a little less than 2% that we're spending less than the prior year. And compared to 2 years ago, we had a real light year apparently, but we're about $19,000 above in spending compared to 2 years ago, which is 8% of that. So big picture wise, less income coming in, but expenses are holding pretty good, and not getting, no big surprises or anything. So that's kind of the big picture of income and expenditures, or revenue and expenditures, donations, expenditures. If you go to the next page in your handout, it says the church member giving by month, and this goes back 4 fiscal years, the current fiscal year and the 3 prior years. And if you remember, our fiscal year goes from September to August, so that's our fiscal year. And you can tell from the last column, the yellow column, that is our current giving year. And this is again just donations only. This is what goes into the little box from our direct giving to the church. So again, down just a little bit from the prior year. And then the next page is again from basically revenue from all sources received. So this adds in any other giving that might come in for cemetery or building fund or the parsonage rental or interest or any other kind of odds and ends that might come in. And again, you can see how those income accounts or columns are ebbing and flowing over the previous 3 years. So again, we're still doing good, and things just ebb and flow, just a little bit down from the past 2 years. The next chart is the total expenditures by month, and again, it's the same thing. It's the current fiscal year compared to the last 3 years. And again, there's a few probably capital expenditure things, or not capital expenditures, but repairs and maintenance items that are showing up in yellow that we're probably making some payments on and doing some work on the fellowship hall and maybe parsonage and other places and stuff. So when you see the big yellow columns going up there almost to 20,000 for the 3 months, that's probably repairs and maintenance items kicking into those. So again, expenditures are going through pretty good on the charts. So now we're gonna flip or change, not flip, but we're gonna change from the graphs over to the spreadsheet looking page. It's 4 pages long, and it should say Sligo Baptist Church Financials, third quarter fiscal year, September to May. And what I did for the 9 months is I put in 9 months worth of actual, so you can kind of see the trends of how things are going into our account and out of our account. And then the last 3 columns is a comparison to what we budgeted for the 9 months. So it kind of gives you an idea of what we were thinking we could do, and then what kind of has come in through the 9 months. So we're actually in total income, we're ahead of what we budgeted. And that was through some donations that kind of came through there. No huge surprises on the income rows to point out. Everything looks pretty consistent. The standout is maybe line 100.25, where some estate gifts came in and some designated projects came in back in January. If you go further down the page to the expenses, again, we're under what we budgeted. We had budgeted around $131,000, and we only spent around $124,500. So we're below what we budgeted, but again, and a little bit below what we spent last year. So we're kind of on track with what we were thinking. So that is page 1. And if you turn to page 2 of 4, it should start with the scholarship mission trips at the top. The big thing here is kind of right in the center, the 211 through 215 line items or accounts. That's where a good amount of expense goes. And it's Pastor Mark's salary, and you can see it's very consistent going across there, right with budget, no surprises there. And then below that is the 220s with the gas and utilities and the internet, and this could vary mostly with the gas utility and potentially the electric payments and stuff like that. So in total, we're doing pretty good there, staying consistent. And maybe we just need some reclassing of utility payments because they're coming in at 0 on the first line item, but I think they're combined with the gas utility payments, so we might try and relook at that for the next report. One thing I did want to point out on lines 211.50 and 211.55, this is the pastor's salary, and it goes into 2 accounts. And it's been that way forever, and it's how the IRS and taxes look at things. There's a designated salary amount that is taxed, and then there's a housing expense that is essentially not taxed. And pastors can basically take their total salary and allocate it between the 2. So we have a change request from when the budget went through in September. And if you turn the page one more time, this is what you should see. It says a salary allocation request change for Pastor Mark. And this is, again, a note to be put in the minutes. And like I was saying, the total salary is allocated between designated and housing expense, and the pastor can change that. And this is something that's done for IRS and tax filing purposes. Now, Mark has requested a change so that $25,000 of his salary go into housing expense for calendar year 2026. And we can make an adjustment below to make that happen. So I'm going to read that big paragraph in the middle. It says the 3 months remain in the current budget year. So we are noting for the minutes and the Treasury report to change the line items 211.50 and 211.55 on your reports to reflect new numbers for June, July, and August, which finishes out our budget year. Next year's budget will reflect the adjusted numbers with no catch-up, which is what we're trying to do for the rest of this year. So basically we're saying 211.50 designated salary will be $2,667 less each month, and 211.55 housing expense will be $2,667 more for the 3 months, June, July, and August, to finish out the year. And this will kind of get it caught up through the 8 months of the calendar year 2026 to be in line with the request of having $25,000 be part of the housing expense for the calendar year. And it's kind of crazy because our fiscal year is based on September through August, and obviously the calendar year goes from January to December. So we're kind of crossing two different budget years to kind of make this allocation happen. But it's not a big deal. And again, his check is the same. It's just a kind of behind the scenes accounting change that we're asking for the church to look at and know about. And again, once we do this will allow everything to happen for Pastor Mark. Now, I'm going to let Ed determine if there needs to be a motion after I'm done with the video to make this happen, or if this could just be a note to the minutes of the meeting that we're doing this behind the, we're just doing this to the two different accounts and allocating them different. It doesn't change the bottom line of the expenses, and it doesn't change any money that Mark is going to get from the church for his services and stuff. So I'll put that aside, and we'll go to page 3 of 4 that starts with postage at the top. And again, there's just no real surprises here. Maybe a little bit of repairs and maintenance that was hard to budget anyway. So we had more in repairs and maintenance than we kind of just ballparked to go into some accounts. And everything else is looking pretty good, pretty steady. Might have some changes in events in next year's budget or something. That's the one that's probably over the most and things like that. But we're it's still looking very good. And then if we go to page 4 of 4, which I'm trying to get to, again, nothing surprising at the very bottom, and you can see kind of the net difference. If you see negatives, that just means at that net difference row, if you see negatives, that means there was more expenses than there was income and revenue that came in. So, we had more months where more was going out than coming in, but a couple of months where things were really coming in, or at least close to what we have. So this is the financial report for the 9 months ended May of 2026. And again, I know Debbie and Lori can ask questions offline if they would like. And again, I thank you for letting me do this through the video so I could basically go to a Reds baseball game with my daughter. Cedar Lake Park Place is having an event day, and they invited parents to be able to go with residents up there. So just hard to say no on that one. And again, I thank you for letting me be with you by video. Have a nice day.